Hello, hello. How is everyone doing? Welcome to the last episode of Beyond the Binary. We made it. Oh my god. Tears of joy, tears of joy. What a ride it has
Finally.
been. So, let me introduce myself. I am Ashwin Kumar, your host of tonight. We have Love Kush once again as our co host. Uh, so, tonight it's pretty chill and it's pretty awesome show. And let's follow up what we did with last week. And first, we covered diversity and inclusion with Shubhangi in the previous episode. If you have not seen that, the recording is on the YouTube channel. Remember that diversity and inclusion means a community where everyone is welcome, regardless of where you come from. You are welcome. You are, even if you're a beginner or not, even if you are underrepresented or not, you are absolutely welcome. And it makes it's a place where you are safe and you feel comfortable to express yourself. And what is a better place than open source to prove that point? And that is the exact topic of the tonight. All right, we are going to talk about open source. A lot of you in the chat, oh hi everyone, hi Abhishek, in the chat already know about open source, but it is all right because we are not going to cover the coding part of open source. I mean that we have there are amazing content on that online if you look it up. We are going to cover out why you should start with open source if you are a beginner, or even if you're not a beginner, why you should keep doing it. For that, we have one of my favorite mentors, the person I always look up to. Uh, he is the founder of OpenCo community, one of the best communities I have seen. He is a GitHub campus expert, a Postman student expert, Postman student leader. In fact, he is the incoming intern at Postman, GSOC fellow at TensorFlow, a mind-blowing open source contribution. Please welcome one and only everyone's cool dude, carry cool dude, or Kartike Rawat. Hi Kartike, how are you doing?
Hi, and thanks for the awesome intro. And like Ashwin is also motivating me in some or another in terms of community. So thanks Ashwin for inviting me to this space, and I hope so I some add some insight to the people who are listening to me. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining. I had no hopes that Kartike would accept the invite. This guy is so busy, super awesome. Just doing one work or other, you will always see him active on Twitter, doing some one way or the other contributions, giving talks, just awesome. So, Kartike, just jumping into the question, I know a lot of people in the chat knows about open source, but there might be someone who has no idea about it. So, in a one-liner
Sure.
or in your terms, could you tell us what is open source? है क्या चीज?
Yep. Not in terms of coding again. So I will tell you in a very layman term. Um, Open source is a way um, where you can maybe diversify yourself. What I mean to say diversify is like it's not about coding as usual. Like many great content creators drop about the open source stuff, or maybe the people who are pretty much active in open source. But again, you don't have to be a coder. You don't have to be from CS background. If you are, you even though you not have to be part of an engineering background also. Even I saw many people who are designers, or you can critically UI designers. They are contributing to open source. So in terms of open source, a thing which is open to everyone, and if you think there's some issue you can fix it or you can solve it. Again, the normal mission of like an entrepreneur, suppose you are an entrepreneur, you see a problem and you want to try to fix it, simple as it is. So basically, for the entrepreneurs, when we say it's more on a private space, you are working on a problem and then after that you're creating a product. But what here in open source, every the open source concept came into play, I think so, when the Linus Torvald created the Linux. Again, it's all things are open source. So actually, what is the meaning of open source over there? It's just like that the code is open to everyone. If you have anything that you can add up to that particular maybe software or any problem that you're fixing over it, and others also collaborate on it. Like it's just a scenario. Like if I do with maybe single, in terms of I am saying, like suppose many people just taken like I have to do it single because like when you say Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and like that big people, they are alone and they're doing crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, the whole team behind is they are working on it. They are not the one who created Amazon or who created Apple. Steve, it's not like that. The whole team is working on it. So at the end of the day, you're collaborating with all the team members. It's not about marketing, sales. Like many people say, tech jobs are really good. Non-tech jobs are like it's a like so called. No. If you have not good, if the tech team will not be there, how a salesperson or marketing they can marketize that product? And if not a sales or marketing will be there, so even though your tech product is amazing out of the box, but you if you can't able to sell it, so it doesn't make a sense. So all things are combined with each other. In terms of, I am saying open source is at the end collaboration, nothing else, to work with each other and to learn from each other. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow, that
awesome.
is a beautiful answer.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to put a question right now. How would open source contribution help us to excel in our career? Because these days, open source contribution is just like another resume for the tech developers, right? How would it help us to excel in our career? Open source contribution.
Sure. I just will give you one example. Suppose you're a tech, just to assume, like those who are listening to me, you are a tech maybe recruiter, or you are a maybe HR from any, like suppose you are a HR from Google. So what you see in a candidate, like on an HR point, like this part, it's not like what many people does. They make a green boxes in the GitHub that you all see, full green boxes. But when the tech recruiter go to the comments, or you can say go to the PRs, they are saying they are doing nothing, they're just updating the documentation, nothing else, or just making, no, it's okay to add up documentation. At the end, adding value is really important. What people does, if you are making capital A to small a, that doesn't make us like, it's a contribution, right? But it doesn't adding any value to the other project or product. Suppose I'm very frank, I contribute to TensorFlow very less, like in terms of PRMC number, because what people say, if you have 100 PR, then you're a big contributor, like you're contributing very much. No, at the end, quality matters. I'm just comparing two people. One people, maybe the PR much is 2 PR, and another person who is PR like 50 PRs. But at the end, if my 2 PR is greater value as compared to the 100 PR, doesn't matter. At the end, quality matters. I working on a maybe 1 PR for a month, and now I'm going to merge it. Like again, the moderator will see the how the quality or how you are making it. If they're going for the naming convention, like what people does. Suppose you are a JavaScript developer, you just write int a, or like normal, like you can const a is equal to something like that. But if you are naming a variable with a proper definition, you can say, suppose you are working on a, like again, I am like most on the active on TensorFlow.js. So suppose you are creating a variable on maybe suppose models kind of thing, like const model kind of thing. So it is easy to understand me as a beginner. Yeah, this person is creating a variable for this, basically for this particular reference. If I'm writing const a, then who I know, like what actually this variable does, what is it doing. Otherwise, you have to add a comment over there, like to understand the whole code. What people does is just writing, and they are only understand, because at the end, open source is not for me; it's for everyone out there. Yeah. So again, if I'm writing any code, it has to be understood by everyone out there, because it's public again. So the main thing of when we go for the, like you can say, the maybe the convention naming, or how the whole code quality matters. It is code quality is not like you have to create a big data structure kind of thing. You have to make a models kind of thing. No, at the end, the code should be clear to everyone. That's a simple answer to, like, to understand, to make up, you can say, if like I'm just taking again example, you can say in nurseries, or maybe in class 1 and class 2, uh, many people say, na, like girls handwriting is very very good, that's why they're getting extra marks, because it is easily understandable. Good handwriting means you are getting extra marks, but for what? Because it is easily understandable by the teachers. And we boys, like, we are doing roughly anything, and we are getting zero but a zero kind of thing. So that's the main point of concern. So the concept is, if you're creating a code, it doesn't matter what it works, like it is matter what it works, but the more important, how you are sharing that code to other people out there, so that they can understand easily, and they can start contributing to that code also. If suppose you write a piece of code, and suppose you can't able to understand, like maybe the second person want to contribute in it, they find the flaw, but maybe in 1 to 2 lines he's falling down, maybe like what actually is going on, maybe I didn't able to understand. So code quality matters at the end of the day. So that's what the answer for, like, maybe answer for me on that. Yeah.
Yep, that's a great answer. So you said uh, that when you are trying to make contribution on open source, you have to keep in mind that anyone should be able to read it, right?
Yep.
What if I don't know how to code? Like, there might be someone in the audience who don't know how to code or might not be interested to code. Can
Yep.
they be part of open source?
Yeah.
How?
So like, I am those who think I'm a big coder. I'm not a coder. On a serious note, I'm not a coder. You can check out my GitHub profile. I'm not a coder. So more on my maybe non-tech end. I'm most on the advocate side. I am pretty much on advocating the maybe the product that I like I am advocate of TensorFlow. I really love the project. I started contributing to it. So I'm taking my example of getting into GSOC in TensorFlow. So my GSOC story is like I got into, maybe I got one of my friend who's also done a GSOC. So he said, bro, just go to, there is a one there is one project under Python Foundation, like Python org. Those who didn't know, Python org is an umbrella org, so it's come under many other projects. So there's a 3D Python based project. So they are working on it. I think so. The project name is Flunky maybe. So I started it. I working on that project. But at the end, I feel I didn't getting any vibe out of it. You can say I didn't feeling like it's a great project kind of stuff. So, and for second side, I contribute in TensorFlow in a non-coding form by advocating the maybe tf.js or TensorFlow about giving sessions, creating, writing blogs on it, maybe giving talks on maybe my college, in any other community. So those who think advocating is not a contributing to open source, you are wrong. You are also, if you're advocating that stuff, writing a blog, maybe writing a tweet or anything, if even though you're writing a documentation out for there, so that's a contributing to it. But at the end, what people does, mismanipulate in the hacktoberfest, all time it happened, they're just writing maybe changing anything in that thing and make it like I am a bigger contributor. Like, it's okay, you're starting on it. For every starter, first target is documentation. I agree. I didn't say that's not possible, but try to improvise yourself. Like, try to improve yourself. Like open source is not only for coders, but you can also be a person who are not from a tech background, but you can get into coding area again. But first of all, you have to understand the project. When people say uh, how I start contributing to open source or any open source project. So first of all, what this is like, there is a YouTube here, go to it, and he will say just go to the issue tab and just start solving the issue, and no one able to understand like what is happening, man, like what is doing here. So first and foremost thing is, go to the documentation, that is a readme file that is under every project, and try to understand it. Okay, so because it gave a normal briefing kind of thing maybe about that project, maybe there's some links to the website to it, so you can go to the website, check out, or maybe implement that project in your small project. That can also possible. So I'm giving you my example. It's not like that I am a master of TensorFlow.js and I know the whole system design of my TensorFlow.js. I use that project in my small project. Maybe it can be image classification, like basic project. So try to implement those projects in your project. And if you seems to feel that like documentation is not good, so maybe I can improve it. Maybe using like, man, there are many open resources. If you want to make the raw documentation good or better, you can do it. But at the end, you have to use the project. Without using, how you be able to understand the project? It's the simple concept, like suppose, without, how you should know, without eating the food is tasty, you have to eat the food, right, to understand it's tasty or not. The simple example is like that. बिना खाए कुछ नहीं होता. Simple, the concept behind it in a Hindi term, कुछ नहीं खाओगे तो पता नहीं चलेगा. Simple is that. So you have to jump in, you have to maybe make your hands dirty in the project, you have to work with it. It's also possible, like the whole month you didn't able to understand projects, okay, go to the community. Like what I did, I didn't able to understand, there is no beginner friendly issue for me. So what I did, I just drop a mail to the in the community mailing list. Hey, I am Karthike and I am new to this community. I use TensorFlow or TensorFlow.js in my project, but I want to contribute to it. But there is no beginner friendly issue. Can anyone help me out? It takes 1 to 2 weeks, but one of the maintainer, or you can say mentor of TensorFlow.js, just reply on my mail, and he said, I created a project tab, and I shared 2 PRs for you that is already merged. You can take a reference out of it and you can start implementing. Like that person makes a project for me, like separate project tab for me to start implementing the. So that's again, I'm saying community is very welcoming, but it's again, if you have to ask, you have to go and ask it. Simple as it is. If anyone comes to me and he say like, bhaiya, just tell me, like, is there, so I, if I got free time, so I just ping him like, yeah, I can help with you on that. And simple as this, community really helpful, but you have to ask for it. Without asking, no one can understand what is going in your mind. They are not everyone is god out there. Yeah, so that's the scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we discussed that in previous episodes too. Like half of their issues would be solved if you ask. Most of
Yeah.
them will be solved if you Google before you ask. So yeah, please Google before you ask. If you still can't find it, then definitely ask, and that's a
Yep.
beautiful answer. I remember that. Uh, I would also look at YouTube videos, try to follow them, open Google GSOC website, look for projects, read the repository, get overwhelmed, I have no idea what's happening. I have not used this product, but I want to contribute. Okay, I have tried that. I have tried reaching out their community. I have no idea what's happening, and then uh, I ended up leaving it, and the cycle just starts again and again until you just spend your time.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I think if I were to give an advice, I would say start with the project which you use in your day to day life. Or
Yep.
some all of you must have used at least one or two open source technology. So start with that. There are like countless open source technologies out there. Even if they're not in GSOC, there are other programs which host them. So because that way you'll get the initial, I think, motivation to get started with contribution. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty. If there's no motivation, there's no reason for you to try contributions, right? So, Karthik, if I were to ask you that if you had the ability, let's say you go back in time, all right, you go back in time and you could start over again. So, I mean, you were a beginner. You went back in time when you were a beginner. You had no idea. What would be
Yeah.
the roadmap or what would be the steps you would follow to start contributing in open source? So, this is basically how a beginner would do.
First and foremost thing, I did lacking in first year is like that. I didn't join any community because I didn't know about it. Simple answer. But it's okay now. Like community is like is very like I think so known to everyone. Even though those who didn't know about anything about community, like you can just check out the maybe. I think so. For developers, you have to active on Twitter. Attack Twitter is very welcoming. Like people are saying Twitter is very unfriendly, but like go with that. Yeah, there's not a issue on that end. Okay, cool. So go to the Twitter, and just to follow those who are doing great. If you want to go in acting, then follow Tom Cruise kind of people. I have no agenda on that. But if you want to get in tech industry, just to follow people who are working on tech. I am not saying follow me, follow Ashwin or follow Lux, Kush, but I am just focusing on like suppose those who are in the top chain of the you can say tech industry, or maybe those who are great in top you can say follow the GitHub stars, like those who are immensely contributing to open source. Maybe shout out someone, Eddie Jord you can follow. You can say Santosh you follow. You can follow Vineet also. Like Vineet and Santosh are both the GitHub star from the India, and Santosh is the first one from India who is a GitHub star. So you can follow those people who are still contributing to open source after a very long time. They are like they are I think so 20 to 30 plus year of experience in industry, and still they're contributing to open source. So we are like chotu bacha from their perspective, but they are still contributing for a large immensely for a very long time. So first point, join a community. If there is no community, build it. That's what I did. There is no community in my area. There's no community in my region. There's no community in my state. I created it. So it's not like that. I have to create because I want to become founder. Like literally, we have not a mind of going into a founder kind of tag. It just like that. It's what happened rapidly because community culture boom in COVID time. So everyone started making out of it and they're working on it. Like maybe MLS local had learned kick us in a very large immensely way as a community or as a guild. So that's what the main thing. Try to work with those people who are doing great in space. Like I just want to take a name, Kunal Kushwaha. Kunal is recently live stream said like uh, it's okay to live in India or maybe work outside India. This doesn't matter. At the matter to whom you are working with, because at the end, the like-minded people, maybe the tech, maybe if you are into a product side, okay, you have to be in a top 10 product manager so that you can inherit those qualities, how to build a product, how to analyze a product. Same with the SDAs. You have to be in you can say top 50 or top 60, or you can say you have to be in a circle of those people so that you can get an different insights about it. That's the main point out here. I'm just wanting to say, just don't go for the community for swags or learning. Go for the networking aspect also. I think so. Sri Karan, I think there is a Sri Karan stream only. There's here talking about networking, but the main point that the main thing I am just want to state it out here why networking is important. There's one of my friend who is great in designing, great, like he's doing great work. But even though his portfolio is good, after that also he's not getting any you can say job or internship. And when he sees another people who getting maybe as an internship or as a job, their portfolio is zero because networking at the end community helps you grow in a very immensely way. Why I'm saying because I am a example out of it. Networking helps me a lot. I connected with great people like Kunal, Aditya Oberoi, Siddharth. We never met. but we are like just like a friends only. Like we are working, we started with the communities, and we are now like a kind of a friend. We are talking with maybe every Saturday, Sunday, like what's going, man, how it's going, okay, kind of stuff. And so at the end, uh, I just want to say networking and join in a community is really a must. And after that, side by side, you can say you can work on your skills by collaborating in projects, you collaborating in hackathons, kind of stuff. So what many, if we go for a three-tier thinking, we are very isolated, and we are just focusing on no, only I have to couple with my friends only. Okay, so I didn't go to another people or maybe another girl, she will be thinking another kind of thing with me. So that doesn't think like that. I think so no one think like that, but I'm just saying on that. And try to collaborate with different people. Why I'm saying, like, there is a concept that I pitch in the DefCon USA, I think the previous year only on the conference. It's like that: if five people in your team, two must be different gender. Why I'm saying, the reason is because and we comparing with a man and female kind of thing right now, or transgender, if I'm also including transgender also, cool. If two is man, two people is man, two is female, and one is transgender. So if you're going for a problem, okay, so as a man we have only one kind of set to understand a problem. Girls have a different mindset, and for the same transgender a different mindset. That's why the came into diversity inclusion came into play over here. And that's why open source bringing up that, why people saying like open source is really good, open source is the key to everything. Why? It's not about coding, it's about how you can take a problem and make it or solve it in a collaboratively end. So that's the thing. Yeah, I think so. Shriman is saying right, open source everything, like by the Eddie, one of the Eddie. Yeah.
Yep,
So
I
yeah, that's it.
absolutely agree with that. So if I were a beginner, yeah, that's what I did as a beginner. Actually, I accidentally joined a community. I'll be honest. I came for the swags. I never knew what's a community. I mean, that's what swags are for. They're there to encourage you
Yep.
to join communities. That's why there's a common saying that come for the swags but stay for the community. And that's why I eventually did. That's what Karthika also did. And
Yeah.
it's been a
No,
total ride. Like,
I actually I didn't get for swag. I get for the pizza because on that end Circle is there, so I go for the pizza, free pizza. So yeah.
yeah, that's absolutely great. That's absolutely legit. So yeah, that's a mind blowing advice because yeah, I think communities are the best way to get started for not just open source, but yeah, open source for sure, but basically everything in tech that you want. And
Yeah, so I just want to make a one pointer out here. Like, go for swag in the initial, there's no issue. Like, okay, but don't fall for swags for a whole time, or like it will get like, from the experience of mine, I am getting like every month there's one of kind of swag boxes coming. So there's not a issue like you have to like for getting swag, like you are going for community. But yeah, it's good for like go for in a starting 2 weeks, and eventually you understand. Actually, rather than for swag will come out of it. So just go for learning and networking people. The main target of open source more on the collaboration, that is the networking collaboration. Networking doesn't mean like I going to LinkedIn and I just dropping a mail like, can you refer me? I didn't say till anyone. Those who I get a connection, I never said it, and I never take a referral right now. Like, on a serious note, even though right now I'm a postman, I'm a student community intern, I can develop a community intern at basically postman. No one give me referral, I give my own. So point is that taking referral is not it's good thing. I'm not saying that. But when you're dropping any, if you're going for networking, or and what people does in networking, they're just going for the they're just going for the referral, nothing else. Talk with just random, hi, how are you, sir? What are you doing? So I'm really passionate about this product, and I know you are you are from, you are SD intern at Google, or you are SD at Google. So I really love this. So talk this kind of very normal stuff. I'm not saying very go for very informal. Just you can say line between formal and informal. You can say, and just talk random stuff. Don't feel like this. You are just coming for the getting any benefit out of it, nothing else. It's not like it's not like that. I am maybe in starting, I started one of my podcasting on my channel, it's stopped right now. But I just want to talk with Aditya, Siddharth, Ali, Yashovardhan Agarwal, those who know, he's like previously on APAC and EU region, community manager at MLS. And right now I think he's in the web series. So I just want to talk with him. So I just think of idea for talking. Maybe like chatting is not the answer, I guess, to get a fully fleshed maybe chatting. So I think, oh, let's make a podcast kind of thing, and it's just it's like it's profit for me, and if someone sees that, so it's okay for them also. Like you can say ek tir se do shikar kind of concept, you can say. Okay, so that's it's for my benefit, but I think of like let's it's also those who are seeing that podcast, maybe they can help you out maybe on that end. So my point here is talk with people, just not for the sake of getting referral or on that stuff. Take the knowledge out of it. It's also possible, maybe you can take the tips from it. Do not take referrals, but you can take a tip like I getting into this interview, so can you help me some of the tips? So he will guide you. Like again, rather than giving a referral, a people is interested in giving a mentorship. That's my concept. Like that's what I feel. Even anyone approaches me, I love to give mentorship rather than giving to a referral. Like many people came to me on a campus expert one, I rejected. You have to do it by yourself. That's what my I'm not saying like I'm very pretty much big in the tech industry, but I'm saying from my experience, do it with yourself. Do not go for referral. Referral will automatically give you on that. Like referral is good, I'm not saying referral is not good, but just try to more focus on your skill and try to work on it. Like networking is not on a very proper going on a profitable, and just talk with random people, those who are doing great in tech industry. Talk with like you can say tech stuff. Basically, I'm just saying, like if you're meeting in a product manager, like how you design that product. Like if you're going for the like surface, maybe Microsoft Surface Note 2 suppose, and you got a PM out of it. Like he's a PM at like Microsoft. He just built out the product or Surface. Talk with that stuff, like how you built it, what the thing, design thinking that you thought of to build like that. Or maybe the if you are going for the PM at Apple, how you think that stuff. Like if you are in a Mac, how you structure it, how you make it happen, that kind of. So to talk with those team limit, so they also will love to give referral from a like plus point kind of thing. So that's the thing that I want to add it over there. Yeah.
Indeed,
Yep, I
you have
mean,
mentioned
we had this conversation with Srikaran on networking. Great point. Like, I mean, we are humans, right? Like, if you just come,
Yep.
ask, and leave, it's so, well, it's
We are
boring.
social
I mean, it's
animals.
fine. Yeah, I mean, we are social beings. So, yeah,
Yep.
it's okay to say hi to all of us. That's totally fine.
Yeah, I want to put one more question. Yeah, can you tell some open source competitions that every student should participate during their student life or college life?
Sure. First one is will be the GSOC because again I have also been a student at GSOC. So the first one is GSOC. Second one is LFX mentorship. Third one is MLH fellowship. There is more to it, but you can say top three will be this one. There's like an n number of program is going on, but again these are the competition. Don't make the target of the life. It's not open source. They are the program to promote open source. So please do not fall like if I didn't get into GSOC, so my life will be ruined. Not that kind of stuff. So be chill. If you the concept of GSOC or any program out there is to promote open source. If you accidentally not getting selected, but to get into community through that program, that's pretty much awesome. Like that's the bond actually to new people or those who are very beginner in maybe in tech or in the open source, and they can get started with get it started into and start contributing to the project. That's the main reason behind starting of GSOC, LFX mentorship, or MLS fellowship also. So my take on it, just to like try to prepare it, but don't like a very J main, J advanced kind of preparation. Please do not do that. Make a competition, but a healthy competition on a collaborative end. Cool. So it's not like that I have to down him. That's why then only I could become a successful and I get into GSOC kind of stuff. So do not do that. Community is very welcoming. Be friendly. Have a healthy competition, but rather than try to learn with each other, those who are around you or those who are around your community, you can say. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, there, like when the season comes, like GSOC season, there will be videos, and they will just focus on the swag and on the incentives rather than the purpose of these programs. So that's pretty sad. I mean, then there are good videos. Like you have to be a bit careful. Just take it like don't just accept what everyone says. Think why these
Yep.
programs are there. They're there to promote, and okay, incentives are nice, but the whole point is, why these programs are there to promote open source. So yeah, it
I
can be a
just
bit competitive.
I just said try to work hard on those like GSOC, because again it's not like that it's very easy, because you get a high level of mentorship from the people who are working in tech industry. But it's okay if you're not getting into GSOC. There is another more organizations, like if I'm going for some specific target like CNCF communities, really awesome. Go to CNCF community, or you can say Kubernetes community. They are really really welcoming. If you are still a very very newbie, you didn't know anything about tech, they get into maybe on the documentation team, or also on the you can see the production team also. Like I think so on every quarter they're releasing out of it. So you have a great opportunity to that. Try to work on it, and like again, These program is awesome. If you get into it, it's awesome. If you're not getting it, it's also awesome, because you can do a lot of work not doing into, like, open source is a way where you can find yourself. That what I feel. I in an initial, I think of maybe I must be a coder or an SD kind of thing, but through open source I get like that I am good with advocacy kind of term. I love talking with community people, and I can advocate that stuff. So, like, you can feel, you can say, in India terms, because when you go to America, there's a concept of 1 year gap where you just want to explore everything. Like after 12th, you have a like 1 year gap. You can do anything. You can explore, and it can arts, commerce, any genre. So for the same for me, open source is a way you can find yourself, but it's just like that. You have to just have internet access and a laptop, nothing else. You can explore so much around the world. Yeah.
Yep, that's true. So, how many years has it been since you started open source? For me, it would be like almost 1 year, one or more.
I guess 1 to 2 years for me the same. I guess because my community started around 2 years back. Like recently, we have our second anniversary of our community. So I think so. It's 23rd March. I guess, yeah, 23rd March. So I think so. 1.5 year. I guess, even if we don't get in, yeah, contribution goes on. Yeah, that's it. That's the main fund. Like Corona will be the, because Corona is still contributing for a longer time. So yeah, so now great point. So more my, I think so 1.5 year for me open source. But those who are thinking I'm contributing coding, no, doesn't make a sense. I didn't do coding not enough, but my more focus in the terms of advocacy. Advocate open source project a lot. That's also contribution, folks. Again, people saying it's good to have a green boxes on the GitHub, but also if you are good with advocacy, that's also a contribution to open source. Because if you advocate that stuff, that means you're getting, like, suppose if I'm advocating TensorFlow, cool. So okay, I'm advocating that product, but I'm also advocating open source side by side. Okay, so I'm telling the new people to get into open source. It can be through advocacy, it can be a contributing documentation, or maybe working on the code part also. So that's the main thing. So advocacy is also part of as an open source contribution, that I just want to check. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I told it's been like only 1 year, barely 1 year since I started open source, and since then I have got uncountable opportunities. I can't even tell. Like it's priceless. I've made priceless friends. I've made friends, not even networks. I would call them friends now. So I
Yep.
made friends. I have made like okay. I have won hackathons thanks to open source. I have made into opportunities I never thought about. I have made into like conference talk. I never thought I would speak in conference talk because of open source. So what 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 open source? Can you just give an example to the
Sure.
audience? What kind of opportunities that open source bring for you? Like what kind of?
Okay.
These are
So
just some of
yes,
my.
like I think you touched something, but like I just want to elaborate on that and only. So no one can think of, like, our student can get to a big open source kind of conferences. So those who didn't know, I think so previous one only for Open Source Summit Japan, I and Kunal Kushwaha is the two people who are just a student. Everyone is professional out there, and we are totally shocked. Like Kunal is the OP guy on that, and so I'm not saying on that end. But for me, it's like a kind of a, you can say, a shock, pretty much so, because what I'm saying, like, I just working on my stuff, and Shivel Amba just DM me on Instagram. Hey bro, you know your talk is accepted. So I said, Bhaiya, which talk are you saying? I didn't see that my name is listed or not, because it came in my mail in the spam kind of thing. So Shiva Bhaiya message me. I just check it on the website. I just check, oh, huh, yeah, it's my name is here. So I go to the spam and just check it. I think so. It's a week ago, like the mail dropped, like you're selected, and it's more on the WebAssembly part, because I'm must exploring WebAssembly. So I just like, let's give it a shot. Let's drop a maybe a proposal for that thing, and I accepted it. So it's I'm not saying like like there's a way where open source, like, what people thinks of, like, coding. Yeah, it's good to be coding, but like apart from that, when we say opportunity, if you go to the conferences, you see lot of people, like those who are listening to you. Like, can anyone think of a student like me, who giving a talk at Open Source Summit Japan? Like, it's pretty much a great event, like one of the top open source conference out there, and the professionals are here to listening to me, a student. Like, no one can think of, and open source helped me that. I'm contributing TensorFlow, I'm contributing TensorFlow.js, and I'm basically stating that thing, like how you can integrate TensorFlow.js with WebAssembly, and you can make it a great machine learning models kind of stuff. So that's my point. Open source maybe is a key. to basically a lot of opportunities. It's not if you're even though if you are a core code developer, or you're developing projects, or develop, or maybe contributing to big projects, that's also a great opportunity. Like, I'm just giving an example. I contributed to TensorFlow, and what happened actually, I get into their SIG team, like core SIG team. I'm saying core SIG team and DevRel team. DevRel team means, I mean, the community team basically. So again, that's happened due to I am contributing to like through GSOC in open source. But again, it's not like I also contributed to Thanos, like Thanos project. Also, pretty much know this, and it's a part of CNC project. And also, I also contributed in documentation of Prometheus. So I mean to say that I also get swag. I like it's from them only. But at the end, I got the skill because I am not a DevOps person. I am giving talk on Azure, or like want to understand the more skill how the whole cloud computing or cloud native space is working. But they give like also give them give me an opportunity to talk on that thing. Same with if you are a part of many communities of different texts. Like, I'm just giving an example over there. In my region, there is no community. When I started off, I created around every tech stack, like every tech stack community. I just want to give you some shout out. CNCF Durg, Friends of Figma Durg, Friends of Figma Bhilai, Friends of Figma Raipur. Three community of design. Those who even think of, and we are doing an in-person event also in my college for the design kind of thing. Okay. We are also going for the Azure developer community, Raipur. And for me, it's a big thing because when I started, because I am the first organizer from Chhattisgarh, and right now I'm a lead of Chhattisgarh basically. I'm leading other organizers, so those who are working on it. So they just give me tags on, and I'm the first one from the tier three state, you can say, who bring us around 300 plus member on Meetup. And you can't imagine, even on Bangalore and even on the maybe you can say Delhi kind of cities, not even 200 crosses on that point, and I crossed that part. And it's a very big thing for me because a state Chhattisgarh, where there's no one active in community, and we are getting 300 plus members, and they are joining and they're asking questions. So that's give me a, like it's also like when we say be in a community, if you really work good, community appreciate that. Like the main program manager over there is Vivek Sirar, who is a like a 30 to 40 plus year experience in Microsoft. They are working for a long time, and he's appreciating my work. Like, you're building such a great community out there. So I mean to say, be in as much as community, but try to active on those community also. Like, what people does, they just join and they just left it. No one like they just join it and they just left. Or maybe Discord, like there are so many Discord server, like you have 50 to 60 plus Discord server and you are into community, but you are not doing nothing. So that doesn't make any sense. Make a list of maybe 7 to 8 communities or 10 communities and try to act. I am not saying try to act on 24 by 7. No, for from take a 2 to 3 hours gap and take, like, see the message that they are working on. Maybe any discussion is going on, jump in the discussion, talk with them. What it happened if suppose you didn't have a knowledge in that discussion, you get the knowledge by taking the discussion notes and what they're actually talking about. That also Eddie or like Kunal taught about learn in public concept. If there is a thread is going on talking about some maybe tech stack or maybe anything, get into discussion, just point out your maybe just giving some points over that topic. And even though you're wrong, it's okay because you're learning from those discussions again. So that's why people are saying learn in public, because open source shift that and makes you more knowledgeable, rather than on that end. So yeah.
Yep, that's amazing advice.
Very good, insightful points. Yeah. What are the best practices for the starter who want to do open source contribution, like if for a fresher? Best
Cool.
practices. Yeah.
um, so first and foremost thing, I'm saying you go for developer advocacy, because why I'm saying, I before GSOC, I been in TensorFlow.js community 9 months back, so I know the project, like I used it. So my first and foremost thing as a beginner is like that. uh, Clone the project, like basic, like you if you know github, basic github, that's very important. But what people, I saw many people saying, like without github you can also do open source. Yeah, it's okay, you can show in a very non-tech and like in terms of developer advocacy end. But if you're really beginner, you didn't know the any project or product, you have to use it on your system, right? So clone it. Try to make some out of the project, or like if you're using like suppose React is also one of the great open source projects. Use it. And why I'm saying using it, because when you start contributing to that project, you have to know how every function works out of it. Suppose let's me take an example. Suppose in React JS you are creating a router. and you doesn't know what classes or what the basically things you have to import, you doesn't know how the whole workflows actually went through. So if you use those projects, you get an insight about it. Like, okay, I have to use router in this way. Maybe what is static route, what is static router, what is dynamic router, how I can use it, or maybe implement that stuff maybe on the some another web page. That's I'm just giving an example over there. So that's a concept. You have to use the project in your own, like if you're creating your own project and try to implement those stuff in your project. So that helps you. It's not only you're creating your project, you're also understanding that particular open source project. And after to understanding that project, you can contribute to it. Now, how to start contribution? So again, basic simple thing. If you understand the project, you use it. Just go to the project repo, like GitHub project repo, go to issue tab, not issue tab, just go to the readme first. After that, also after using of the whole project, try to use the project and then go to the readme. Try to understand that stuff, like how it totally works. What more function that I should know that I shouldn't till now didn't know about it. Go for the documentation, read about more on it. I know documentation reading is very boring, but those who are doing, you can say, hackathon or software development for 2 to 3 years, they pretty much know documentation is love for them, because documentation is best out there. And if you see React or Django documentation, these are the one of the best documentation out there. You doesn't go to any YouTube tutorial kind of. Even though for getting a push, you can see a YouTube tutorial, but for mastering or not mastering, I must say you have to update with the new plugins or the functions. You have to refer documentation at the end of the day. The YouTuber will not tell each and every function that is created in the production previous week, and they will drop a video on it and you will understand out of it. So it will never happen. For a basic understanding, you can use video tutorial. After that, go to the documentation, read about it, and when I'm saying start contributing to it, I must say not going to issue. Go to the mailing list of it. It can be Google groups, it can be Discord, Slack, anything. Drop here, I am a new to this community, I'm really interested to join this community. This is my skills and I want to contribute to this community, so can anyone be help me out? Yeah, can anyone share some of the resources also? It's not like that. You suppose you didn't know about anything about React.js or React, suppose in general. You go to their Discord or mailing list and drop, like, I'm new to this community, can anyone share some resources so that I can kick this off? And after you make that project and understand whole it, and suppose for in my case what happened, there's no beginner friendly issue. Cool, go to it and just write like there's no beginner friendly issue, or if suppose there is a beginner friendly issue. But what people like, if you see in general terms, the chat is already there or someone assigned to that issue. If someone, if issue of that particular issue is assigned to someone, please do not go to it, because they're already assigned to that. But after a week, maybe after 2 to 3 weeks, there's no work is done on the assignee, then you can say, I am ready with my PR. Just give me a, just give me an assign, and I will just make a PR on it, and I will done the work. Simple as it. Because moderator wants to work like create, you can say, creating an issue or feature request. They should have to be done very faster. That's the main concept of it. And we say why SD gets so much money, because they have to work so a lot on that scenario. That's the main focus behind it. So yeah, that's on my pointers over there. And you can see in a non-tech and also, please join the community of that particular open source project that you are interested to it. Before getting into it, it's not like that I am into TensorFlow or you are into maybe CNCF. That's the big of one of the biggest open source projects, so I have to do also. No, first of all, understand that that's what happened with me. What I said earlier, like in my firstly, I do go to Python Foundation. I didn't like the project, so I left it. Then I go to TensorFlow and I use it, and I feel like I can do with stuff some with that. Then happen. And also there's multiple factors. So it's not like that I contribute only 2 PR, so maybe my contribution not big. But after that, I am active in communities, so the moderators know me. Like there are two mentors of me. One is Ping You, who actually assigned me a project tab, like you can do with this stuff. And second one is Shivai Lamba, who is known me for a long time, because I'm working with TensorFlow community for a very long time. So that's my case. If you've been active in community, the moderators know you, the maintainers know you, the mentors know you, so you can like work with that basically. So yeah.
Yep, that is absolutely great advice. If I had to add something to best practices of open source, I would say uh, don't ask to ask like basic things which are actually a lot of beginners completely ignore. It's like don't ask to ask. Be inclusive. We talked that in the last episode. If you want to check it out, it's an open source community, so you have folks from all types of genders and backgrounds. So be inclusive, use they, them, or don't assume pronouns, and uh, I mean, be descriptive. If you're asking for something, ask them in one go. Like, be as descriptive as you want. If you're creating a pull request, or if you're trying to show a solution, just just tell them as detailed as possible. Because if I'm a maintainer, I would love to see that enthusiasm. I would love to see as much as you could explain to me, add screenshots or anything that you could provide. There's nothing like, I would ask that if you provide that right from the beginning, it would be great. Uh, Always check the documentation or video if you prefer watching videos, anything, before asking, because chances are, if you ask me, I'm a maintainer, if you ask me, I will look from there and then tell you. So it's the same thing, so it's just the same circle. So as a beginner, it's often done that mistake. So yeah, I think keep that in mind and don't hesitate to ask. It's completely all right to ask. uh, yeah, join communities, check out what's happening around. Exactly what Karthik said. So apart from that, so Karthikeya, you are doing way too many things that I can even possibly imagine. And yeah, that's definitely one of my. I would personally would like to know the answer of that question. How did you manage to balance the whole open source multiverse or open source verse with your community work? Okay, that's fine. But how do you manage all that, your side hustles, with college life, with academics? Because all three of us here are students. So,
Yeah, so
what is the
uh,
secret mantra? How are you doing it?
no, no, no. Actually, I'm pretty much lucky for this thing, but it's not about my college. It's about COVID because COVID ended right now on my seventh semester, and now it's my eighth semester. So in my eighth semester, I have a 0% attendance, even though I didn't go to college for. I go to college by the way, but for the in-person event, not for the attending college. So my point is go to college, but on terms of like I know there's very exhausted and like if you go for my college timing is 10 to 5 p.m. Okay, so it's very exhaustive, very exhaustive, but take us 1 hour break maybe. And if you're going for like if your home is around your college or even the far also, I just want to say take a 1 hour gap. I just recently started going to the gym. It's okay not go for gym, like if gym is not open then I go to badminton, like play something. That what I feel sports helps you a lot because even recently tweeted about it. I just feel that if you're going for the badminton or maybe cricket or for football, basketball for a 1 hour also, the energy you got to work on your maybe software development, like you have, you're like, I just got a like, I'm thinking why shouldn't start this very often because like early also, because if you're coding like from morning to evening, there's a time when came like 2 to 3 hours, there will be a drop of your efficiency of productivity, you can say. Man nahi kar raha hai, let's do it another thing, maybe like let's me play a music kind of stuff. Even though you can get a productivity for half an hour after listening music, but what I feel, if you play, but like I'm not saying go to gym. My friends are taking me up like, go for gym chalte hai bhai, theek hai. So I'm not saying that, but my main concern is play something so that your mind will be fresh, because you are not doing the same stuff that you are doing right now, like coding. You go to the badminton. Why I'm saying play sports. You got a skill of teammates basically, because sports teaches you a lot thing leadership. If you are in a volleyball team or maybe leader of volleyball team, you know how to basically handle the whole team. Like you say three people just go to the left side, or you just take up the center, or basically you are handling your team, or you got a team spirit kind of thing. So sports also teaches you a you can say non-tech and or you can say soft skill basically, and you also energize yourself. So your whole body will be flexible, and you are when you came back to home or came back to your room, you will be energized and you can work. You can say until you can say 2 to 3 p.m. Also, that's what happened with me on that same day. Even though in the first week it will be very exhaustive, but I must say go to do some physical activities. Just go if you are not doing physical, it's okay. Just hang out with your friends, go for a long walk. You can say uh, it can be with your friend, it can be with your boyfriend, girlfriend also. That's also fine. That also double rise your energy. But okay, okay, so you can do that stuff also. So yeah, that's my take on that. Yeah.
Yep, that is amazing. And I also see we are almost nearing the time. So before we wrap
Cool.
up, do you have any closing notes for anyone who is watching now or in the future, when they're starting their journey, stepping into the first stone of open source?
Cool. just want to say, we should have faith on open source, because what people say it's free. So what it helps me, like what happened, just at the stating you that yesterday is my farewell, and some couple of my friends, or like some of my friends came to me, and they just said like they left my community in starting, or like they joined my community like when I started out of it, like kind of club also, like kind of that. So they joined 3 months and they just left it, because they are saying you have no growth, there's no one, you get a growth kind of thing. But after that, they're just coming back and they're saying like you are saying right, bro. We didn't get like these are those people who maybe didn't get into something or kind of that. Maybe get not did their gate examination properly, not cat examination kind of stuff, or didn't do anything well. So they are saying that you are doing right. So what I want to say in terms of that, have faith on open source, or have faith on communities also. It will give back to you. What happens, like when I starting off my community after a year, I and my some of my co-founders like we have four co-founders of my community. So we are discussing, is it okay to for take a forward with this. We are just stopping our community for your kind sake, and maybe God gives us some kind of energy on that moment. Like we are saying, let's do some gate examination, let's do some cat kind of preparation. We have no growth in communities kind of we going on their mind, our mind on that moment. But what happened? But I didn't know. After a week, my one of my co-founder got an internship as a SD internship at Sava Lab. I get into GSOC. My another designer got into an internship as product designer. So we totally flunked up, because a week ago we are thinking of closing down community, and after a week we got something great thing like from community that we didn't expect it. Like I know on the same day where I got GSOC, I also become a student leader at post and student leader basically. So we are just surprised like on the after like on exact date, actually I'm saying exact date, we I think the four of them getting an internship, or you can say job opportunity, anything from the open source or communities also. So have faith, be patient. I know be patient is very risky, but maybe if you didn't take risk right now in second, third year, so when you will take after your 50s, where you are mostly on, uh, mostly you are in your death penalty kind of thing. So I just want to say take risk. Is it okay to go with like what people does? It's okay to go with some of the, you can say, part that is created by someone and they're doing great in their journey. But everyone's journey has different aspect, different things is going on in every journey. I have different journey, Ashwin has different journey, Love is a different journey. So doesn't take like, even though when we say like I'm just taking some again I'm taking Kunal Kush for example. Why I'm saying, because that bro go for the college for only first year I guess, and like after second, third, fourth year it do it by his hard work. Like what people like, there is very maybe controversial statement is going on at that particular bro, but on a serious end, when it comes to teaching or anything related to tech, he's the guy which is stood for everything. Apart from that, like there's no one perfect, but I want to say on terms of the person, he's a person who basically uh, start, or you can say created a community on that aspect, like in a mindset kind of thing. I'm just saying. So I want to say everyone's journey is different. So please do not copy it, just to take a, you can say, take an inspiration from it, but do not try to copy like this. I have this journey, so I have to be like this one. Everyone's situation is different. Some are poor, some are maybe rich, maybe some from middle class, some are from three tier, some are from first tier, one tier cities, some are from three tier college, one tier college. So everyone have a different situation. So do not compare with it, because it doesn't, like, it only fall, you only fall, nothing else. Because if you're taking motivation or from that person, like take an inspiration is good, but getting overwhelmed with that person, and maybe you are saying like I'm nothing, I'm doing nothing. Like suppose if I'm comparing with Kunal with me, like I should be fall of them. Like again he's doing great because he's doing started already from first year also. Like he did his DSA kind of stuff in my first year, then second year is on open source kind of stuff. So I started my community or open source through my, I think, the fourth semester kind of thing. So it doesn't make a sense to compare myself to with compare it, but to himself, to you only, like what you did yesterday and what you are now. That's the main thing. And also enjoy your life. Life एक ही बार आती है. You have only one life, so try to enjoy it. What people there does, they just take a pressure on it, like I have to do, I have to do, I have to do, I have to do. I have been a champion. So that spirit is okay, but enjoy it, yeah. On you have only one life, So go to the farewell, go to the parties. If you love going to parties, okay, it's not an issue with that. Try to hang out with those people you are loving with it, it's okay. But after that, do not take 95% of time on those stuff. You have to focus on your goal or maybe the career that you are thinking of. I'm not saying on a particular to open source right now, but in a journal, and I'm saying right now. So yeah, or again, just give it, just have a patience. Open source and community will help you. Just be in a community for a long time, and community give back to you a very if you're going, I think so, if you're giving x, it will give you 10x. That's what I can say, because it also improves the social profile in terms of in over internet, you can say. It also enhance your skills, but not only skills, it also enhance your social, you can social lifestyles, or you can say soft skill basically. I am not a speaker. I am very introvert. Even though I am also introvert, those who didn't know, even I'm speaking very fluently. But but I just want to say, try to open source is a way where you can explore yourself. Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
Yep, that is that is actually really really cool advice. Just stay there, just be consistent. You will see the results. It's just mind blowing. I mean, yeah, he is a live Karthikeya's live example. I've seen it in my career. Even I can tell even Lavkush is starting to see the changes. I can see that. So thank you so much, Karthike. That was just amazing session. That was a great closing episode for this show. Thank you so much for keeping some time for this show. Actually, I was really waiting. We pulled it off, and
No,
yeah,
thanks to Ashwin. Thanks to Ashwin. Those who didn't know, please follow Ashwin. Ashwin is doing great for community, and the work he has also done is also commendable. It's not like that. Like people are saying, like even though I have a same thought with Aditya Oberoi and Siddharth, like will they like when I started with my community thing, will they accept it, or like they are big people, why should they like accept my? But they accept it. But the point is here. We are like someone started early in community, someone starting late, same with the career also. So it doesn't like what people think or maybe on that end. But my just take is Ashwin is doing great work for sure, because this is the same mission or vision I started with my college and my region. So kudos to Ashwin and love and to whole team of Hyderabad. Yeah,
yeah. Thank you so much,
thank
and
you.
yeah, we'll see you around, Karthike. Bye.
See you. Bye bye. Yeah.
Yep. Wow. That is the end of Beyond the Binary, but that does not mean we have ended with our events. All right, folks. But because next week we are starting with Global Hack Week, which is basically local hack day renamed by Major League Hacking, and Hyderabad is now a guild there. So yeah, it's for those who don't know what is Global Hack Week. It is a week-long hackathon celebration where it's going to be pretty fun coding sessions. There are going to be workshops, swags, unlimited swags for everyone, and it's going to be a pretty good fun. So yeah, Hyderabad is also the guild now. If you want to join us, or if you want to join any other guild, just head over to this link, and yeah, you can select your join. Okay, I see how to join Kartike's community. Don't worry, we'll drop that link in the chat in the minute, so you won't miss it now. And let's take a quick recap for the past six episodes that we have covered. So we started with campus ambassador programs, things you need to keep in mind, be aware of STAMI, campus ambassador programs, and focusing on the right ones. Then we moved on to developer relations. What basically developer relations is, what is developer evangelism, how it just comes all under, and how it is not different, how it's different from DevOps, followed by UI UX design. If you are not into coding all the time and if you like to work on the design, that episode is for you. Then we talked about networking, one of my favorite themes of this series. I made some great networks just by hosting this series, and yeah, it was amazing session. And then we moved on to diversity and inclusion, something which is less talked about in the communities, but you should definitely know about it. And then in the end, we ended with tonight's, that is open source, because everyone, I think everyone in here should have some idea of what open source is. It's a great concept. All of you should try it out. And here is the link to join the open core community. So yeah, Feel free to join it, say hi to folks, look for issues if you find them. Don't hesitate to ask for help. Yeah, follow the best practices. And with that said, that is the end of Beyond the Binary season one. We'll see you soon, starting next week on Global Hack Week. With that said, uh, have a great night. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ashwin Kumar. This is Love Kush, and this is Team Hyderabad signing off.